And here I am back inside of the world's worst movie theater. Insert your random. Oh my God, this horrible thing is happening inside of here, or this really disgusting thing is happening inside of here. Like I said last week, I've kind of really run out of ideas of how to open these up here. But like I said last week, if these movies I'm talking about aren't going to try, then why the hell should I? So let's just go ahead and get right to my number 24 worst movie I have ever seen in my entire life. And it is one of the single worst romantic comedies I have ever seen in my life. And that is the 2010 assterpiece that is The Bounty Hunter with Jennifer Aniston and Gerard Butler. And in it, Gerard Butler stars as a struggling bounty hunter, Milo, and Jennifer Aniston as his bail-jumping ex-wife, Nicole. Much to his glee, Milo learns that Nicole is his next target and begins his assignment with enthusiasm. However, Nicole is determined to escape from Milo's custody once he has found her. I mean, this movie is absolutely one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, when I bought my ticket back in the day, I thought that there was probably a good chance I would enjoy the film because I went to see it because of three reasons. One, Jennifer Aniston. You know, she's somebody who can save a movie a majority of the time, and she can also be a really good actress. Two, Gerard Butler. A lot of people criticized him back in the day for picking dull movie roles, but I thought a lot of those roles, while they weren't great, they weren't horrible. And three, the director Andy Tennant. This is the guy who directed Hitch, which is one of my favorite romantic comedies. And boy, did all three of them disappoint. This movie was not only god-awful and unspeakably bad, but I could go on for weeks about how bad this movie was. But let me just pinpoint the major things that got on my goddamn nerves on this movie real quickly. Number one is Jason Sudeikis. Like, what the hell are you doing in this movie, dude? You can do so much better. I mean, you were on 30 Rock, for God's sakes, and you were great on the Cleveland Show. Like, how did you get stuck with the worst role in the movie? His only role in this movie is to just play the stalker co-worker to Aniston's character, and when he follows her around, I wanted Gerard Butler to kill this dude so much because there's no need for this character whatsoever. There's also another subplot revolving around Kathy Moriarty, who was a great actress back in the day, Raging Bull. You know, for you younger 90s kids, if you grew up with her as the bad guy in Casper. There was no need for the subplot to be in the movie because there was never an ending for it. It just stops. There's a point near the end of the film where Butler has this bag of her money and just throws all the money away to the strippers in the strip club they're all in, and the bad guys go after him, and then that's it. They never go back to it. The supporting characters are terrible, not to mention Jason, besides Jason Sudeikis. You know, every single supporting character in this movie was either annoying as hell or funny as hell. All but one was with that one person being Jeff Garlin, who was the only person that had me laughing during the film. Boy, what a different time that was, because everybody else in this movie was annoying as hell. The script is a disaster. Like, I don't know what this writer was thinking before she wrote because she never wrote anything before this. But just learn to write better because this is not clever writing at all. There's a point in this movie where Jennifer Aniston goes into a tattoo shop trying to speak to a guy named Earl and tries to talk her in by asking for a full-body panther as she goes into these descriptive talks of where she wants the parts on her body. And I can remember uttering the words, "This shit isn't funny. What the fuck are you doing, Aniston? How much are they paying you to say this bullshit?" And at the beginning of the film, Gerard Butler chases a man down dressed up like Uncle Sam and Stilts. Like, you know, that hasn't been done before. And I like to think Butler's thinking to himself, I was in 300 for God's sakes. How the fuck did I end up in here? But as we've seen later on down the road with Gerard Butler, yeah, his career really hasn't gone any better since then. But the climax of the film is bad. I mean, this movie turned into Night and Day and Killers before those movies even came out. Like, Gerard Butler's carrying a gun, the bad guy's carrying a gun, even Jennifer Aniston's carrying a gun, but whose gun it is? And I'm not kidding here, it's the gun of John Gotti Jr. Like, what were they thinking when they made this movie? Like, this... And the biggest problem with this movie is the ending. This has to be one of the worst endings I have ever seen in a romantic comedy ever. Gerard Butler does what he needs to do. He ends up taking her to jail as he promised to do throughout the whole film, and just as he leaves the police station, he punches a cop and gets put in jail himself so she can be with him. And I'm sorry, I know you think that's clever, but no. There's nothing about this that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't care if your ex-wife was Jennifer Aniston. I'm not going to jail to be with her for the rest of my life. And that's just, like, it's unbelievable how lazy and how bad this movie is. Like, it's not even lazy. It's just awe-inspiring how bad this movie is. Everything that could go wrong in this movie goes wrong almost immediately, and it just completely just falls apart right from the get-go, and it just has nothing of value to it whatsoever when it's all said and done. This is a terrible movie. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It's up there with one of the worst romantic comedies of all time, if not the worst. But, my God, The Bounty Hunter is such a mess of a film. Avoid it like the plague. It's number 24 on my list of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. So if you want to hear what I had to say about The Cat in the Hat and the Lorax last time around, I'll leave a link to that video there. You can check out the other playlist with all the other episodes I've done before this. And I will see you guys next time. So, take care.